Welcome to Dinar Shift, your source for the latest developments concerning the Iraqi dinar. Today, we delve into an update of paramount importance, one that cuts through the noise of speculation and rumor to deliver a clear message straight from the highest levels of Iraqi leadership. For those who have meticulously followed the trajectory of Iraq's currency reforms over the years, this moment represents a watershed, potentially the most significant public confirmation regarding the dinar's future value to emerge in 2025. This is not information gleaned from fleeting social media discussions or unverified forum chatter. It is a direct televised declaration from the Prime Minister of Iraq himself, a statement that has reverberated across the global community of observers focused on Iraq's financial landscape. The gravity of this announcement cannot be overstated, as it marks a stark departure from the guarded, cautious language that has historically characterized official discourse on the dinar's exchange rate. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani's recent public address has been widely interpreted as the strongest signal yet that Iraq is not just contemplating, but actively executing, a strategy to fundamentally strengthen its national currency. The core message is simple yet revolutionary. The time for the Iraqi dinar to genuinely reflect the immense economic power of the nation has arrived. This confirmation, delivered with unmistakable confidence, shifts the entire narrative from hypothetical possibilities to an impending reality, suggesting that a new financial epoch for Iraq has indeed begun. During a widely watched national broadcast centered on Iraq's economic progress and foundational long-term goals, Prime Minister Sudani made a deliberate pivot to address the status of the Iraqi dinar itself. He openly articulated the necessity for the currency to be an accurate barometer of the nation's true wealth and stability, moving beyond its current undervalued status. Crucially, he confirmed that the Central Bank of Iraq (CBI) is currently in the process of preparing for a new phase, specifically designed to restore the dinar's genuine, underlying value. This level of candidness from a sitting prime minister is unprecedented in recent history, transforming a long-standing aspiration into an officially recognized and actively pursued governmental objective. The implications of the prime minister's choice of platform and wording are profound. For many years, senior Iraqi officials maintained a cautious silence or used vague terminology when discussing the dinar's eventual value, carefully avoiding any statements that could be construed as premature commitment. Sudani, however, chose the highly visible forum of live state television, a setting where every word is subject to rigorous review and intentional strategic coordination, to deliver his assertive message. This calculated public address is seen by financial analysts and keen observers alike as a signal that the groundwork is not only complete, but that the major institutions are now fully aligned for a significant monetary policy action. What makes Sudani's public confirmation exceptionally powerful is the evidence it provides of complete coordination between Iraq's political leadership and its central financial authority. Historically, one of the most significant challenges to comprehensive currency reform was the apparent occasional divergence in priorities and strategies between the government and the central bank. However, the Prime Minister's recent message unequivocally eliminates that perception of disconnect. He openly referenced the CBA preparations and ongoing reforms, explicitly positioning the restoration of the dinar's true value as a unified and shared goal of both institutions. This unity in strategy, government and central bank speaking with a single, clear voice, is the crucial ingredient that transforms theoretical possibility into operational execution. When the nation's political will aligns perfectly with its monetary authority, the capacity for executing major economic shifts skyrockets. Sudani's assertive tone suggests that this unified strategy is not merely an idea on paper, it is already actively being implemented. Because this confirmation originates directly from the head of the government, it is now being treated as the single most authoritative indicator that major monetary adjustments are not only coming, but are actively advancing through their final phases. To fully grasp the meaning behind the phrase restoring the dinar's true value, it is essential to look beyond simple numerical adjustments. Sudani's discussion was not about trivial cosmetic changes or merely printing new banknotes. Instead, his remarks point to a structural imbalance. The current exchange rate fails to reflect Iraq's robust and rapidly developing economic reality. Consider Iraq's foundational economic strengths. It possesses some of the largest proven oil reserves globally, holds substantial foreign currency reserves, maintains a strong gold position, and is rapidly expanding its international trade networks, placing it on one of the most favorable growth trajectories in the Middle East. Despite these immense underlying assets, the Iraqi currency remains artificially undervalued relative to its national economic output. This persistent, detrimental mismatch is precisely what the Prime Minister's statement addressed. When a sovereign nation experiences significant measurable financial growth and stability, but its currency does not appreciate to reflect that power, fundamental reform becomes an economic imperative. Based on Sudani's communication, Iraq is now moving definitively to execute the necessary steps to align the dinar's valuation with its actual, powerful economic footing. This endeavor transcends simple market manipulation. It is about establishing national financial independence and ensuring long-term systemic stability. Understanding the depth of this reform requires acknowledging the vast technical preparation the CBA has undertaken, largely outside of the public spotlight. In the past year, Iraq has quietly completed an extensive overhaul of its financial infrastructure, a foundation laying effort often unnoticed by casual observers. This includes upgrading its entire banking system to meet stringent, contemporary international compliance standards and integrating its financial institutions into major global networks. These actions involved sophisticated compliance updates, significant digital infrastructure improvements, and establishing real-time settlement capabilities, all critical for interacting seamlessly with the world economy. Furthermore, Iraq has substantially strengthened its monitoring systems to combat corruption and enhance security across both public and private financial sectors. A concerted national effort has also been made to decrease the domestic economy's reliance on the US dollar, favoring the increased use of the Iraqi dinar in local transactions. The culmination of this tireless work includes securing multiple international certifications, which are necessary prerequisites for Iraq's banking sector to deepen its integration with global trade and financial partners. These are not minor, bureaucratic hurdles. They are the systematic, foundational steps that a country takes when it is preparing its entire financial architecture for a monumental structural shift. Adding to the Prime Minister's statement, reports emanating from inside Iraq's sprawling banking network suggest that internal preparations have noticeably accelerated in recent weeks. Multiple banks across the nation have been actively engaged in updating internal exchange systems, recalibrating their rate, setting software, and conducting technical preparations across their branch networks for sudden implementation changes. Local residents have also reported isolated instances of banks temporarily imposing limits on large foreign currency withdrawals, a precautionary measure that is universally recognized as a precursor to significant liquidity adjustments or major structural monetary changes within any banking system. These actions are fundamentally non-random. Banks do not dedicate significant time and resources to updating complex internal rate setting systems unless there is an expectation of a major, imminent development originating from the central bank. Furthermore, when instructions circulate within the private banking sector advising immediate preparation for rate updates on extremely short notice, it confirms that the central bank is entering the final operational phase, where decisions can be implemented rapidly and decisively. These ground-level banking developments perfectly corroborate the public confirmation given by Prime Minister Sudani, underscoring the reality that Iraq is on the threshold of a new monetary phase that may require the financial sector to react with minimal forewarning. The specific timing of Prime Minister Sudani's bold public announcement is also a critical element demanding close examination. Why choose this precise moment to deliver such a potentially market-moving message? The answer is embedded within the current confluence of Iraq's major financial and political developments. The country's latest national budget cycle has moved into its active implementation phase. A budget that was structurally designed around assumptions of significantly stronger financial performance and an expanded, more centralized role for the domestic currency. This fiscal framework provides the ideal economic support for a currency strengthening move. Additionally, a wave of new international trade agreements has been finalized, many of which strategically require settlements to be conducted in local currency, further reducing the country's dependency on foreign exchange. Complementary economic reforms across the burgeoning private sector are actively promoting digitization and reducing the reliance on cash-based transactions, measures that inherently enhance the dinar's stability and resistance to manipulation. When the political, economic, and banking sectors achieve this level of simultaneous alignment, it typically signifies that the government has maximized its readiness and is prepared to enact its highest-level policy objectives. Sudani's timing was therefore deliberate. He spoke when all major preparatory elements had successfully fallen into place. During the same influential broadcast, Prime Minister Sudani also articulated a deeply personal and powerful message directed squarely at the people of Iraq. He spoke passionately about the concepts of national pride, inherent dignity, and financial strength, emphasizing that the Iraqi people deserve a currency that authentically mirrors the power and stability of their rich nation. This portion of his speech transcended mere financial jargon. It was a deeply emotional and symbolic address to national grievances. For decades, the Iraqi citizenry has endured the debilitating effects of sanctions, persistent political turbulence, and currency depreciation that directly impacted the prosperity and security of millions of families. Many Iraqis have felt the profound weight of a national currency that failed to reflect the true value of their country's immense resources and national potential. Sudani's message was a direct and empathetic response to those widespread frustrations, offering a promise that the financial future would be fundamentally different and more equitable. Historical precedent shows that national leaders typically employ such an assertive, promise-driven tone only when a major, high-confidence change is imminent. No prime minister would risk his political credibility by making such high-stakes promises without a solid, actionable foundation. The confident tone itself strongly suggests that Iraq's government and its central bank possess not only a fully developed plan, but also absolute confidence in its successful execution. The official response from the Central Bank of Iraq, released shortly after the Prime Minister's broadcast, further solidified the unified message. While characteristically measured and cautious, as is standard for all central banks, the brief public statement aligned flawlessly with Sudani's core message. It strategically emphasized the ongoing, active reforms aimed at comprehensively strengthening the national currency and systematically enhancing the overall stability of Iraq's financial markets. This high-level acknowledgement from the central bank is exceptionally significant because it chose neither to deny nor to temper the Prime Minister's significant announcement. Instead, the central bank's statement served as a direct confirmation that currency reform is an active, top-tier priority. When the head of government makes a major policy announcement and the independent monetary authority immediately echoes and affirms that message, it constitutes undeniable proof of a fully unified national strategy. This long-sought unity has been the missing piece in the reform puzzle for many years, with both crucial institutions now pointing unambiguously toward the same objective. Regional analysts are universally interpreting this as the clearest possible signal that Iraq is finalizing preparations for a transformative, system-wide financial shift. The reverberations of Prime Minister Sudani's comments have already extended far beyond Iraq's borders, capturing the attention of financial experts across the broader Middle East. Several respected analysts in neighboring markets have observed that a country like Iraq would never publicly signal a currency reform of this magnitude unless it had secured both the tacit support and clear understanding of its major international financial partners. Iraq is no longer an isolated economic entity. It has successfully established robust trade agreements with global players, including strategic relationships with China, India, Turkey, and various nations within the Gulf Cooperation Council. A growing trend among these international partners is a regional movement toward utilizing stronger local currency trade systems, strategically reducing their reliance on foreign currencies for settlement. Should Iraq proceed with strengthening the dinar, it aligns perfectly with and strategically supports this broader regional financial shift. Consequently, a stronger Iraqi currency not only delivers immense benefits to Iraq domestically, but also materially supports its economic partners and contributes to a broader rebalancing of the global financial landscape. This is why Sudani's statement is generating significant international interest. the global community recognizes Iraq's strategic positioning to influence the currency dynamics of the entire region. Inside the committed community of Dinar observers, the reaction to the Prime Minister's announcement has been one of intense, immediate validation. Individuals who have patiently tracked Iraq's progress for many years immediately recognized the historical weight and authoritative nature of Sudani's comments. Analysts are widely calling this the clearest, most direct confirmation to date that the central bank's long-anticipated multi-year plan is moving decisively forward into its final stages. Experienced long-term observers note that a direct and public reference to explicitly restoring the dinar's value has never been articulated with such unvarnished clarity and official authority. While past official statements were frequently vague, indirect, or focused on peripheral reforms, this declaration was pointed, deliberate, and definitive. It signals undeniable momentum, deep governmental confidence, and institutional readiness. For a community that has demonstrated remarkable patience through years of uncertainty, this moment represents a major psychological and conversational shift. Suddenly, what once felt like a distant, long-term goal now feels palpably close. The discussion has fundamentally transitioned from debating if a change will occur to intensely discussing when it will be implemented. A shift powerful enough to dramatically energize watchers worldwide. Based on detailed insider reports and structural expert analysis, the typical sequence of events expected from this juncture generally adheres to a predictable pattern, one designed to maximize stability and minimize market disruption. The first expected step involves a significant intensification of internal rate testing across Iraq's entire banking and ATM network. This crucial phase ensures that every financial system, digital platform, and branch operation is fully prepared to flawlessly implement updated currency values the moment they are announced. This technical synchronization is a non-negotiable prerequisite for a smooth transition. The second anticipated development involves a strategic tightening of liquidity measures, particularly concerning foreign currency holdings within the country, designed to prevent any sudden market imbalances or speculative disruptions during the transition phase. Following technical readiness, the third step involves a carefully managed increase in public communication, subtly preparing the general citizenry for the potential introduction of new currency values or procedures. Finally, once all systems are fully synchronized and tested, the central bank releases the new rate, often initially through official, quiet channels before any widespread public acknowledgement, a strategy designed to allow the financial system to adjust smoothly. Given the substantial groundwork already confirmed to be in place and the undeniable acceleration of internal banking preparations, many experts believe Iraq is nearing the conclusion of this structured sequence. The critical technical foundation is confirmed, the high-level communication has officially commenced, and the Prime Minister has now publicly confirmed the ultimate financial direction. If these converging developments continue their forward trajectory, the implications for those holding the dinar are significant, underscoring the urgent need for informed readiness. For those tracking this situation, early preparation is paramount, involving organizing all necessary documentation and identifying secure, officially recognized exchange locations. During a period of such high anticipation and potential change, the risk of misinformation spreading rapidly is extremely high. Rumors, digitally manipulated screenshots, and unverified reports can quickly create widespread confusion and unnecessary panic. It is therefore absolutely essential to rely exclusively on official statements and data released directly by recognized financial institutions and the Central Bank of Iraq. When a major currency adjustment takes place, banks and financial platforms will automatically reflect the updated rates through official channels. There will be no genuine need to chase rumors or rely on speculative, unverified reports. Historically, these major adjustments often occur suddenly, with little to no prior public fanfare or pre-announcement. Therefore, maintaining composure, remaining meticulously informed, and exercising patience will be the most crucial actions during this transformative period, ensuring that any actions taken are based on confirmed, verifiable fact. Some forward-looking analysts suggest that Iraq's impending currency movement could potentially serve as a catalyst for broader financial shifts across the global landscape, though not through any immediate dramatic worldwide reset. Rather, this is based on the immutable fact that Iraq's planned currency reform is uniquely backed by substantial, real economic assets. Massive oil reserves, substantial gold holdings, and rapidly expanding international trade partnerships. When a major, resource-rich nation decisively realigns its national currency to accurately reflect its formidable economic strength, it often sets a precedent that encourages similar moves among other regional economies. This demonstration of financial independence could potentially trigger a beneficial ripple effect across various emerging markets that also possess undervalued currencies but strong underlying assets. While the specific outcome remains contingent on official implementation, the profound stability and genuine asset backing behind the Iraqi currency grant it unique leverage and credibility in the global financial arena. This is the crucial factor that elevates the importance of Iraq's upcoming monetary phase beyond domestic policy and positions it as a significant international financial development worth watching closely. Prime Minister Sudani's public confidence during the interview did not carry the typical cautious undertones of political hedging. Instead, he spoke with absolute certainty and clarity, declaring that Iraq is definitively entering a new financial era and assuring the nation that the dinar will once again stand as a true symbol of national strength and pride. Leaders deliberately employ this caliber of language only when major, planned changes are confirmed to be approaching execution. This tone signals preparation and readiness, not hesitation or speculation. Given the current, unmistakable coordination between the government and the central bank, it is clear that Iraq is moving swiftly toward the culmination of a reform program that has been in development for many years. The assertive, confident tone of a nation's highest leadership often reveals more about the imminence of a decision than any single report or economic data point. Going forward, observers should continue to monitor three primary, crucial indicators. First, closely watch for any new, official statements from the Central Bank of Iraq. Any update, clarification, or new procedural reform announcement could signal accelerated movement toward a new rate implementation. Second, meticulously track banking activity inside Iraq. When banks begin imposing new limits on foreign currency withdrawals, performing prolonged system maintenance, or subtly updating their public exchange boards, it is a definitive sign of internal, operational adjustments being made for imminent change. Third, pay close attention to future public appearances by Prime Minister Sudani. If he chooses to repeat or strategically expand upon his currency remarks, it will confirm that the government is actively preparing the wider population for a major structural change. Each of these three indicators serves as a crucial piece of the puzzle, helping to create an ever clearer picture of where the process stands and how close Iraq may be to formally revealing the next and potentially final phase of its extensive financial strategy. The simultaneous movement of these three indicators will be key to understanding the next critical steps. Beyond the critical technical and economic dimensions, this moment carries a powerful, deep emotional significance for the citizens of Iraq. For decades, the Iraqi people have lived under the shadow of economic instability, international sanctions, and a weakened national currency. Many citizens grew up in a financial system where their national money simply did not reflect the true value of their country's vast resources, cultural achievements, or immense future potential. Prime Minister Sudani's recent remarks offer a tangible sense of hope, the hope that Iraq's financial identity will finally achieve alignment with its profound national strength. This is precisely why his announcement resonated so strongly across the nation. It represents a fundamental shift not just in economic policy, but in national pride and self-determination. For countless Iraqis, the prospect of restoring the dinar's value is symbolic of long-term stability, renewed opportunity, and the promise of a brighter, more secure future for their families. It is far more than an economic reform. It is being viewed by many as a powerful statement of national rebirth and sovereign financial maturity. To succinctly summarize the core of what has been confirmed, Prime Minister Sudani has publicly announced that Iraq is entering a decisive new phase with the explicit goal of restoring the national currency's real value. The central bank has provided its own affirmation that the necessary reforms are fully active and consistently ongoing. Banks across the entire country are visibly updating their internal systems, adjusting policies, and preparing operational readiness for potential unannounced changes. International financial partners are observing these concurrent developments with keen interest, clearly recognizing Iraq's undeniable, emerging financial strength and strategic importance. Simultaneously, new trade agreements and domestic economic reforms are aligning perfectly, and the unmistakable unity between the government's political leadership and the central bank's monetary authority signals that Iraq is closer than it has ever been to implementing a major, transformative financial shift. All available, credible indicators point toward imminent action. After years of persistent speculation, lingering uncertainty, and operational delays, the definitive confirmation has now come directly from the highest office in the land. This fundamentally transforms the entire conversation, eliminating doubt, substantially strengthening confidence, and signaling that the years of meticulous preparation are finally moving toward their critical conclusion. For all dedicated observers, this is the time to prioritize verified information, maintain a cautious outlook, and ensure maximum readiness. When the decisive shift finally occurs, it may begin quietly and without fanfare, but the financial impact will be immediate and profound, felt instantly both inside the Republic of Iraq and across linked international markets. This moment is where long-term patience and diligent preparation intersect.